Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to Mentorship Mondays with the Owwll App. And my name is Geoffrey Schmidt. I have Arrow Mindset Performance Coaching. I'm a mindset and performance coach working primarily with entrepreneurs. And today I'm joined by these two amazing guests here to my left who have amazing stories. So all of you that are on the app, if you have any questions on entrepreneurship, business, anything we're talking about or even alluding to, make sure to call in and ask to speak with one of these guys or speak to all of us. We're all friends here. So let's start with Isaac right here to my left. Isaac, tell everybody, who you are and just, quick, like 60 to 120 seconds about yourself.
Okay. Isaac Moore. I live here in Boca Raton. Grew up in Israel. Came to the U.S. over 20 years ago with like $600 in my pocket. I just finished serving the IDF as a lieutenant in the Israeli Marines. And I came here to save some money for school, working in a moving company with a plan on going back to Israel. I ended up coming here, and instead of that management position they offered me, they just gave me a broom and told me, start working. So it's a little shift. I also came here with hardly any money, $600 in my pocket, which the first thing I did was give it for rent. I started, I didn't give up. And over time, things changed, and I did become a management in the moving company, and then I opened one on my own. The moving company I had was about 80 employees. I sold that. Then I started a web development company. I ended up moving back to Israel for a couple of years, came back to the US. And a few years ago, I partnered up in a mental health practice, which started from scratch, really, and slowly hired people to come and work for me. Therapists, psychiatrists, testing, medication management for all sorts of mental health. And right now, that's what I primarily do, looking for other business ventures. And some of them are in the home improvement. I always get offers for businesses. I reject most of them, but I think I'm kind of like ready to move forward with something else just to mix it up a little.
Awesome. Well, listen to that, guys. There's a lot of knowledge, information, and wisdom within this guy right here. So make sure to call in. Alex, tell us about yourself.
My name is Alex Margolis. I'm from Detroit, Michigan originally, and I have a biomedical company where I do sourcing for laboratories, medical offices, hospitals. It's an interesting story how I got into it. I've only been in the entrepreneurship space for about the last 4 years, and before that, before I moved to Florida 11 years ago, I was just a runaway freight train with no direction. I got into I started working out and got into the gym when I got sober, and I moved down here 12 years ago and spent some years doing personal training in the gym and trading hours for dollars. I spent some years doing that before I started looking for, the opportunity to build something on my own to where I wasn't going to be, grinding until my last days. And I had a personal training client who actually was in the laboratory space and brought to me this business of selling COVID testing supplies. And that was a grind, and I was a little late to the party. I'm sure everybody remembers sometime over the last few years where everybody and their mother was selling COVID testing stuff and PPE.
Yep.
And I had a bad business relationship that and I didn't really realize because I was so green in the business, and I spun my wheels for a couple of months before I secured some reliable national distributors that gave me some great reseller discount pricing and would drop ship for me. And and I started learning how to sell to histology labs.
Ah,
So that's a you know, a whole lot of technical jargon and that I won't get into, but I learned how to sell all this, that started sustaining me until I started learning how to sell in other segments of medical. And but it's been a fun journey for somebody with no background in medical or laboratory.
well, you know what's really interesting is, well, first, for everybody watching, another wealth of information here. And if one thing, you know, you haven't connected the dots yet, I'm going to put them together, is what you're seeing right here in front of you is examples of resilience, perseverance, and the willingness to overcome situations and scenarios that may otherwise collapse people. Because here we have a gentleman who came here to the United States from Israel with $600, which I think in my promo video I said $200, but I was accounting for inflation because that was a long time
Probably
ago.
worth 100 now.
Yeah, I might have actually gone a little bit high on that. And then I have another gentleman over here who, you know, like he said, he came down here as a runaway freight train. Where's a runaway freight train going? Not sitting here on the Owwll podcast, that's for sure. But look, defied the odds. Here he is right now, ready to answer some questions about his story. So if you know anyone, or you are someone that is struggling or having some challenges and feeling like, listen, hey, what can I do? You know, you feel pushed in a corner. Well, you have people right here who've been through it, done it, got the t-shirt. And even in my background with my first company, you know, started from a place of just really like not wanting to work for someone else. And also too, coming from a place of like, if I go back in history and remember, you know, I was getting married, you know, I was having a wife at the time. So we're going to have kids in the whole 9 yards. And my full-time job just wasn't cutting it. So had to be willing to get out there, roll up the sleeves, and really just start grinding and getting to work, making it happen. And I think that's a terminology that's lost in today's world, making something happen. You don't really hear people say it that much with the emphasis, but you guys have made it happen. So here,
Yeah, I insisted
tell
on,
me.
I mean, I struggled a lot. I think my entire life I worked for corporate America, maybe 1 year, recruiting doctors for emergency rooms. And that's kind of like how I realized certain things about doctors and how they operate. And, you know, the doctors are not gods. They're recruitable. They can work for you, even though I'm not a clinician myself. With no background in mental health, you know, you realize supply and demand. And this is where the money is. So for all those that are grinding, working, you know, for $1 or, you know, for whatever it is per hour, I think when I stopped working so much around the clock, I had more time to think. And when you have time to think, this is where you make things happen. This is where ideas come to fruition. But at the same time, I don't think sitting at home and looking for an idea is going to make you money. Even if you put it to work, it's not going to make you money just yet. So in other words, you have to get yourself out there and start trying. If you don't try, you're never going to know, because things evolve over time. And, you know, you need to come with good attitude, wake up every morning, be grateful, get out there, grind the phones, talk to people, meet people, socialize. And eventually, you know, so you're going to find your direction in life. You're going to find your career path. But that takes effort. That takes getting out of the house and going out there and just making it happen.
What do you think, Alex? What do you got to say about that?
Yeah. I mean, what you were saying about getting married and you know, it being almost like a crunch time. You know, I think I really felt that this year I turned 40, and I think it was appropriate that you know, my business really just started taking off this year as well, and
it's always at 40, by the
way. and it's like Isaac was saying too. It's just it's about you know, you just keep on taking that next step, you know, and this is an action, you know, and a program of action.
Well, and also too, mentally, what happens, just to, you know, even add to what you both said, is like you said, 40, something clicks in. Okay, something comes into alignment. And all of a sudden, when you're feeling that alignment, you're making decisions that align with what you're feeling that are now producing results. But it's usually not until that internal feeling takes place when those things start really working out for you. And that's one of the big challenges. People often need a situation or a circumstance or some kind of scenario to get them into that place where they're not spinning their wheels, where they're now motivated, where their mind is all of a sudden unconsciously time collapsing, basically taking 2 hours and turning it into 4 hours, giving them 4 hours of productivity for the 2 hours. We've all had those days. We've been in zone where it's like in maybe 2-3 hours, like, oh my gosh, I just accomplished more in 3 hours than most people accomplish in a whole week. You guys have been there, right? Yeah, of course. So when your why is strong enough, meaning like you have a real reason, a real cause.
Call kids,
There you go.
family,
Getting married, exactly.
buying a house,
Buying a mortgage payment.
having a purpose,
Exactly.
not wanting to work for the men and make something of your own. I mean, the fact that we're all sitting here right now and not in our business is because we can't. I used to hang out with Jeff at an entrepreneurs group, and they told us, everyone who is here, we just want to make sure that you create something that you can leave the office whenever you want. And just for owning a business doesn't mean you don't want the business to own you. You want to be able to take time off and not work for yourself, because then you're just self-employed. So you create a business that's going to generate your streams of income even when you're not there. So I can go on vacations. I could go visit my family. I can spend time with my kids. I can, work out or travel. And I know my business is running itself. So the idea is you invest time and effort and money sometimes to create something that's going to generate streams of revenue. And then you start something new, because that's what we live for the newness, for the excitement, because you don't want to get stagnant and do nothing new.
Well, I think that's something that a lot of people get confused on with entrepreneurship, because a lot of entrepreneurs, true entrepreneurs, were pioneers to a certain extent. We like to venture into the unknown. We like to pull ideas out of the ether and turn them into reality. I think the term entrepreneurship these days has really been romanticized for good reason. I think it should be, because I think it's for someone who's a true entrepreneur, it's a wonderful pursuit. But the reality is what is required to bring something to life in a meaningful and value-based form. It's a very complex, system of, elements that have to go together to make it happen. And it's interesting, because I'm sitting here listening to you talk, Isaac, and the way you're talking about the business and everything. And it's so matter of fact, and I love it. But one thing that I want all the guests to know is one thing he's demonstrating, and you are too, Isaac, Alex too, is the confidence and the self-esteem. Because if you do not have the mindset, and you're not just going to wake up one morning and say, I have an entrepreneurial mindset, I have, the mindset to make things happen. You probably don't. I'm just being honest, because to be successful, there has to be a high degree of confidence, a high degree of self-esteem, because getting into the world of entrepreneurship requires a high level of risk tolerance. And that is not for everybody. Because the reality is you fail. No, I failed a lot.
It's not for everybody, but at the same time, these things, they can be learned and you practicing. Just like it's not for everybody to be a bodybuilder, but can anyone be a bodybuilder? Sure. You just go to the gym, you invest, you wake up every morning, you do what you need to do, you eat right. If you invest enough time and you'll be resilient and, just keep doing the same thing over and over and over until you succeed.
Yeah, they have to want it bad enough. You have to want it bad enough.
Yes, you
have to taste it, feel it. You have to dream about it. Like I was just telling someone this the other day, real quick, when I had Florida Surf Lessons, my surfing company. Every day I would look at my watch and be like, I used to play a game in my head. How much can I do in 1 hour? How much can I accomplish in 1 hour? That 1 hour would go by and go by and go by and be like, oh my God, I did so much. And then I remember my ex-wife at the time be like, Jeff, it's like 12 o'clock. Aren't you coming to bed? And I'd be like, I just need 1 more hour to finish stuff. And she goes, why don't you just come to bed? I go, no, because once it's done today, I won't have to do it tomorrow. This is how I was programmed. Yeah. People looked at me like I was insane. I was trying to jam pack as much, because I figured I only have 24 hours in a day. That's an even playing field for everybody. So when I was in my 20s, if I could survive off of 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Not so much these days.
No, at the same time, when I was in my 20s, I would work like 18 hours a day, every day.
Yeah.
But the fact is that it didn't produce me more money. And then I realized if you work many hours or if you work really, really hard, all that's going to do is you just become more tired.
Yeah.
You become beat up. You don't have time to think. So take a step back in order to take a step forward. It's always working like that, you know?
That's wisdom. You learn that as we get older, unfortunately.
I think that smart and successful people at some point or another realize that, you know, when you do good, that you feel good, and you know, they you know, fill their times with things that are going to improve their situation, things that are going to improve them mentally, physically, financially, and it did you know, it didn't come easy for me, but
Give us some examples of the things that you do that are good for you, that are,
well,
you know, positive and make an impact and, you know, gets you going.
one thing that was sort of the beginning of this whole journey for me, because I didn't have any discipline in my life, and you know, probably nothing like the discipline that you got were in the IDF, or you know, I kind of spent my 20s just and not knowing what I was doing and not having any direction and getting into a lot of trouble. And when I started working out, when I got sober, it was like one of the first times that I you know, that where I could see and feel some measurable results of something that I could feel good about myself for. And you know, I started doing bodybuilding competition, and I think I learned a type of, you know, a form of discipline that I was able to start applying into other areas of my life. You know, I spent some years in the gym, but you know, I think I always had sort of an entrepreneurial spirit. Maybe it ran in my family. My dad was like a self-made man, a builder, and you know, my brothers still run his business that he built over 60 years. But I wanted, I had you know, a craving to build something of my own, and so I started looking for opportunities and surrounded myself with some good mentorship. But
Where do you find your mentors?
My friend Gene, who was actually my personal training client, and he's my best friend. He's my best friend now. He helped me start my business. He had a career servicing.
Oh, we got a call, guys.
Oh, great.
All right. We have Samara Beth Hurley. How you doing, Samara?
I'm good, Geoffrey. How are you? Do you go by Jeff or Geoffrey?
Whichever one works. Whichever one rolls off the tongue easier.
So are you there with Jason?
I'm right here with Jason. He's trying to give me some instructions. Oh, hit read more. Okay. Oh, I gotcha. All right. So we're reading your profile.
Yeah, read about how interesting I am. Or you could just talk to me.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Jason's like coaching me here. All right.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right. Very interesting. Cool. So you got some questions for us over here? Maybe we have an answer. I don't know.
Jason texted and said, call in. So I just kind of call in. I'm an action taker. I just do it. I don't, you know, ask him questions.
When Jason asks us to do something, we know better than to argue or say no.
Exactly. So are you a business coach? Did I see that? I can't minimize to see your profile.
Yeah, mindset and performance coach, where I focus primarily with working with entrepreneurs.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you live in Florida, or?
I'm right here in Boca Raton.
Seems like everyone's in Boca. I guess I'll just have to go on over there now.
This is the place to be. Where are you?
I'm in Scottsdale, also a place to be. Everyone's moving here too.
Okay. Well, what's going on in Scottsdale?
Well, it's a low, sunny 108.
Oh, that's it?
It's winter for us.
Oh, so you got your winter clothes on. Got it.
That's right. But it's actually quite gorgeous today. We've had, I live right on the golf course, so I get to watch all the golfers who are perpetually on vacation while I'm working. But I am perpetually on vacation because I live in a resort destination. So I own a event retreat production company. I've been in the business for 30 years. I used to
Wow.
live all up and down the East Coast, actually.
Very interesting.
How
Yeah.
do you actually get paid to vacation? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Who's this?
This is Isaac.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi.
So I actually have a course. It's called Paid to Vacation. It's a retreat revenue masterclass, and it's a workshop / masterclass teaching people my trips modules. So it teaches them how to transform and identify who their key audience is, as well as teaching them the planning process. So the budget spreadsheets, working with the clients, producing your own events, or doing it for others. I've been a corporate social nonprofit event planner for 30 years. So,
Oh wow.
I was thinking we just got paid to go on vacation because I'm great on vacation. Like if somebody wants to pay me,
I did
Thailand?
pay
I
you. So
thought
you're
only
getting
in
$1.
Miami girls get paid to go on vacation.
No, girls from Scottsdale do too.
Do that.
Yes,
I've only been to
they do.
Sedona. That was a quick visit, quick trip.
I've been to Scottsdale a couple times.
Sedona's nothing like Scottsdale. It's very woo woo. It's all hiking and camping.
That's what I was there for, baby.
nature.
Taking in the woo.
That's right. Take in the woo.
Those
and then you
twisted
come to
trees.
Scottsdale is more a little bit of, fake here and there, but
So it's
a
like
great
Miami.
city. Basically, yes, it's like Miami. I go to Miami a lot. I'm a
Arizona,
10x I'm a 10x certified business coach at Grant Cardone. So
Oh, Mr. Cardone. Got it. Well, since you took his course, you're going to have to take my workshop tonight. I have a workshop on mindfulness, harnessing mindfulness. Well, it's mindset mastery and harnessing your mindset for more power. Because basically what it comes down to is at the foundation of mindset is mindfulness. And understanding and clear on your mindful practice really helps you shape your mindset for whatever it is you're trying to achieve, whether it's in life and business. Too often people will put the actions before what they need to do internally. They'll focus on outward stuff instead of inward stuff. So they may eventually cross a finish line. Maybe you start a company and become super successful. But if you ever find yourself just, feeling inside like something's missing, something's not right, something is off, even though you're surrounded by success and you're surrounded by so many wonderful things, it comes down to the way you've programmed yourself inside, which is really can be, broken down into your mind, your daily mind practice of mindfulness. What are you doing every day to set your intention, to grow that intention, to water that seed, to make sure that seed literally blossoms in the direction you want it to go? Because again, I could go into a story, which I won't right now, but with my first company, when I started it, grew it, it was super successful. All my dreams were basically realized, except, I kind of lost my family in the process. I lost my wife at the time, little things that I just wasn't conscious of. The prices I was being forced to pay that I wasn't aware that the collector was standing at my door every single day taken from me. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, because I've had so many life changes in my life, and I was just saying this morning to my boyfriend who's sitting here listening too, who loves Miami, wants to move to Aventura. So I was talking about the purpose. So my purpose is always changing, and sometimes trying to figure out what it is right now, especially as we're in the middle of a political year and wars going on, and the economy. And so as an event producer, I've been in this industry so long, I've just lived through so many ups and downs with it. And so your purpose is constantly changing. And so I'm trying to think to myself, what exactly is it I want to do? I have my company, Smart Beth & Co. It's global. There's not as much travel going on right now globally, but there's still a lot of travel. We actually had a high, one of the highest years for travel this summer, which was great for our industry. But it comes down to, what do I want to do? I've got one who's a junior in college. I have a daughter who just started high school. I'm in a different stage in my life,
Well, that's it. When we hit those transition points and we've gone through the hills and the valleys, the twists and the turns, and experienced a lot of what life has thrown at us and, really triumphed over that, you do reach a point where you say to yourself, what has this all been for? What is my future going to be for? And that's where it becomes really crucial to acknowledge that time, place, and space and really connect to who we are inside. So we're no longer thinking as much. Like, here's the thing too, I'm going to throw out there is when we have, like, let's just say a daily mindful practice, there's less thinking and there's more being. So how many times you find yourself in a situation where you're like, man, I should have said that, or I wish I said that, or wow, let me think about that. When you're truly integrated and connected, there is no thinking. There's very little at the very least. It's coming from a place of passion, purpose, truth, authenticity. And that's a big part of the next journey for many people, especially who can reflect on their past and say, wow, I put in 18 hours, like Isaac talks about, 18-hour days when he was in his 20s and he realized it wasn't, fruitful for him. You could figure out how to do it in 9 hours and delegate better and run a better business, things like that. So yeah, you definitely, if you can make it, it's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think I have a link. I know I have a link on my Instagram at Owwll Mindset if you're interested.
So I might be able to jump in. I do have a bunch of Zooms as well today, but so when I close you out, I'll be able to go into your information. I can't even see your whole last name. I just see Geoffrey SCH.
Oh, it's only showing partial. Look at that. Yeah. Wait, I only see partial last name for you too. It's like Samara Beth.
Well, that's my first and middle name. My last name, my former married name was Hurley, and my maiden name is Schwartz, and so it's quite long to be Samara Beth Schwartz Hurley. That's my Facebook, but my company is Samara Beth & Co. So I'm using Samara Beth & Co. for all of my socials for work.
Scroll down. Oh wait, what's going? Jason's talking to me again. Oh, all right. Here you go. Oh, there we go. Check it out. Perfect. Everybody take a look.
Am I in 4D? Am I in 4D now?
I think you're in 14D. Jason's got all kinds of equipment in this office. I don't even know what it is.
Is this your first time on the app?
No, I've been on the app for a while. This is the second show I'm hosting for him, the Mentorship Mondays.
I love it. So we have 40 seconds left.
That's
I'm watching the time.
40 seconds.
Tell everyone. What is your website, Jeff?
Oh, it's AYRO mindset.com.
AYRO mindset.com.
That's me. Perfect.
All right. So when you see a tiny blonde chick following you, I'm not stalking you, but I'm stalking.
Oh, maybe you should.
Oh, you know what? AYRO mindset.com. I got a 404 error.
What? Do HTTPS www. It's weird like that sometimes.
No, it did that automatically. The www.
Yeah. Oh, it hung up. All right. Great talk.
5-star.
Of course. I'd give 6 if I could. Submit. All right. All right, guys. That was our first phone call. What did you think? Pretty exciting, huh?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I'm just still trying to figure out how to get paid to vacation.
I know.
Sign me up.
I know my girlfriend's all in the big into the yoga spiritual community, and there's all types of women's retreats that she's always telling me about, and they're not cheap. So and they include a lot of activity and planning, and they bring a lot of women together, and I'm sure there's all types of.
Oh, I'll tell you this right now. Her events that she's doing, the work that goes into that, because back in the day when I had the surfing company, one of our locations was in Costa Rica, and we used to do every month, we had groups in Costa Rica. So on the surface, you attend one of these and you're like, woo, I'm having a great time. I'm going surfing. Next day I'm going to go, look at spider monkeys in the jungle or something. But nobody realizes and understands what really goes on behind the scenes.
It's not necessarily like being on vacation.
Oh, it sure as hell isn't. No, it's like, I remember once when I was down there in Costa Rica, and this is going way back, 2006, maybe 5. I don't know. It's going way back. And my hosting company literally crashed. And, at that time we had a lot of, correspondence through our website, and completely crashed. All of our systems crashed here in the United States, and I'm here in Costa Rica. And back then we had Skype. That was the way to call, or you paid like $4 a minute to call the US. It was A or B.
Right.
And I remember for like 48 hours straight, I was going back and forth with people trying to manage this trip of like people we had down from New York City, like finance guys, and then, keep operations running in the US. Cause I had my surf instructors and people calling me from like Cocoa Beach, Miami, like, what's going on, Jeff? We can't get in touch. All the systems are down. And I was like, here in Costa Rica.
So it's not like a vacation the whole time, but
No.
I'm sure you got plenty of you had a plenty good time, and you're passionate about it. So
Back then there was a lot of passion. I'm not going to say there was as much good times, but a lot of passion. Huh? Okay. Sorry. All right. Isaac has to step out for a quick second. He'll be joining us. So tell us a little more, Alex, like your story, like when people hear it, it's inspiring. Like literally you could have gone left or right, and you ended up really, like, in my opinion, I'll just say it, kicking ass.
I'm sure I probably surprised a lot of people with the people that knew me and saw me back then, and I'm sure that a lot of people were really happy to see me turning around. I.e. mostly my family.
Yeah. Family's got to be proud of you with what's going on.
Yeah. Like I said, my dad. I'm sure I have a bit of the entrepreneurial spirit in my family with my dad and my brothers. I really wish. I don't know. Well, actually, I'm sure my dad's looking down and is proud, happy to see me doing what I'm doing.
What's your biggest accomplishment so far in the company? Like, what's one thing right now you're just like, wow, I've done this.
We've quadrupled our business this year. So I went from shipping out to like 20 different businesses to shipping out to over 100 different businesses.
Oh my God,
this year.
That's tremendous growth.
And we've got laboratories and collection sites in like 5 different states now, and it's growing at an exponential rate. We got a lot of big stuff in the pipeline, and that I'm highly optimistic about. That, like, I don't even know how I'm going to handle it yet. It's we're in the midst of scaling the business as we speak. I just got approved for a big loan.
Nice.
We're hiring. We're outsourcing some admin people. We're starting to interview with some companies that can help us to automate our billing.
Nice. Now, how do you feel like if we look ahead 30 days, 180 days, how do you see the present moment impacting the future? What do you see?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been such a whirlwind for me, and I feel like I'm still so green in the entrepreneurship world at like 4 years, and like I said, I was spinning my wheels for a little bit in the beginning, and I probably stuck it out for a while when probably a lot of other people might have packed it in, but I saw that we had something good, and I knew that, like, once I could get an opportunity to prove myself and show these people what I could do, then it was all gonna start happening.
That's when you really feel like you stepped it up and it really, start to crystallize for you.
Yeah, well, I knew I had a good thing, and like I said, I knew that if I just handled everything appropriately, and I showed these people what I could do, for me, I had to learn how to play to my strengths a little bit, and then surround myself with some people that would help fill out that package, the full package, and I surrounded myself with a good support system and some good mentorship, and it's just keeping on doing what I'm doing right now, and learning to learning to see opportunity and finding opportunities. And we've we have so many different sourcing relationships now. It's like I've got a few different options for like where I want to put my eggs in what basket.
Cool. What do you think, Isaac? You look very relaxed right now. Relieved.
I am.
Do you feel better?
Yeah, much
I saw your legs shaking. Well, I didn't want to share with you. But, all right.
No, I'm good.
Cool. So what do you got? What do you got to say about what Alex just shared? What do you think?
I think that mentorship is really important, but so is accountability. And a lot of people don't have the accountability within themselves, so they have to find someone that's going to hold them accountable and going to tell them, well, what's up with your numbers? It looks like you're sleeping. Like, what's your pain points? What can you improve? What can you add? But at the same time, you don't want to get lost. So direction, going in the right direction and knowing where the direction is, what the purpose is of everything that you do, then I think that it's going to really help you get to where you want to get, if you know what you're trying to get.
Exactly. And you made a huge point with accountability, because there are so many entrepreneurs out there. And we used to be part of the EO group. So I've met more entrepreneurs than I can even think of. And even still, only a small part work within organizations or have coaches and, frameworks in place to hold them accountable. And I got to tell you, like with my last company, Florida Salt Scrubs, the cosmetics company, I had a coach for 8 years of that business. And he literally, like, I can't thank him enough when I think back, because I had my times when I was just ready to roll up my sleeves, throw up my hands and walk away, or proverbially hop on a Harley and ride off into the sunset and never look, back. And this is what accountability does, because I think it was like, who was it? Henry David Thoreau, who was quoted saying that human beings were not rational creatures. We are rationalizing creatures. So we will always find a reason to ourselves to justify whatever it is we want, whatever we do, however we do it, as opposed to this situation where you do have a coach or someone holding you accountable. Now, guess what? The rationalization doesn't fly. What does fly is reality. What is reality? And I think that's a question that a lot of people miss and not ask themselves is, what is reality in the situation that I'm currently finding myself in based upon the outcome that I want? And to your point, if you don't know what you want or you haven't figured that out, then you are going to be like the proverbial, sailboat in the middle of the ocean, with your sails flapping in all directions. You have to just pick a course of direction. It doesn't matter what, just pick something.
But also dream big.
Oh, dream as big as your mind will let you go. But you still have to match reality. So like when you meet someone, for example, and they say, listen, I want to have the biggest car manufacturing company on planet Earth, and they don't have any resources or access to or any of that, then I love the dream. But what's the first step? What's the second step? We got to look at where you're at. We got to look at your situation. Where are you at present moment today? What do you have for resources? Do you have health problems that could get in the way? Do you have mindset problems that could get in the way? What do we need to get ironed out in order to create a step-by-step clear path to the outcome that you want to achieve? Absolutely. And then are you willing, and this is the other thing, you guys have gone through it, I've gone through it, we've all gone through it as entrepreneurs. Are you willing to subject yourself to reality checks, AKA accountability? Because nobody likes to be told they're doing it wrong. Nobody likes to be told they're out of line. Nobody likes to be told, put it that way. But that's why we hire our coaches. That's why we put our mentors in place, to keep us in line and kick our ass back into gear when it needs to happen.
Yeah, but I just want to also tell people out there that if you want to achieve something, you can. People tell me, oh, I want to be a millionaire. What do you do to be that? Oh, I wouldn't mind being married with kids, but what do you do about that?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a purpose, if you have a goal, I think that, we all have the same opportunity to go and achieve it. Because if somebody says, I wouldn't mind being a millionaire, or I would like to be a millionaire, and they're sitting at home and doing nothing, then what's the point of doing
Exactly.
what's the point of that? Like, if you want something, you need to wake up every morning and try.
Oh, looks like we got a call here, guys. All right. Accept. Is this Rebecca? Oh. All right, read more. See, I'm learning how to do this. Hi, Rebecca.
Well, hello. Hi there. Hold on just a second. I'm actually driving. Let me turn this off.
Where are you taking us? You taking us somewhere good?
I'm taking you to.
Taking us to the land of silence. Or mute.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so it was.
You fizzled out for a second.
Hello.
Yep. Hi.
Hi.
So how's it going?
It's going well. Did you hear me when I said I'm going to my cryotherapy appointment?
Ah, okay. Cry. So you're gonna get cold.
Very cold. It's 185 degrees below.
That's it.
Very cold for 3 minutes.
Oh, that's like sun tanning in some parts of the world.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah, maybe we have an answer. What do you got?
Okay, this is the question. How do I sell? How do I monetize something that the masses don't value until it's too late?
That's a very interesting question, and it's really more about anything else than just listening to the market. If the like here you go. At the end of the day, there's two ways to answer this question. One, figure out how your message needs to be delivered. Like, I'll give you this quick little example. With my last company, when I was doing outside sales and building it in the early days, sometimes I'd go into retailers. They would look at me and be like, I don't want your product. I don't need it, blah, blah, blah. Look at me like I have 5 heads on my shoulder. But I would keep going back to them. And after time number 4 or 5, sometimes they'd be like, dude, don't you take a hint? Come on, we're not interested. And I'd be like, no, I have to apologize to you because clearly I am not explaining this correctly, because if I was, you would have placed an order the first time I came into your store. So that's not you, it's me.
That's your fault.
It's my fault.
You didn't give them enough value.
So I had to keep apologizing. And I said, I'm just going to have to keep coming into your store. And often you'd see them, their eyes would be like, all right, fine, we'll just place an order, dude. Stop coming in. And so I'm not saying to go to those extremes, but nonetheless, the point of the matter is if the market is not responding to your offer, you're not putting it in a way that that is resonating with them and that they're understanding.
I love when people don't want to buy from me, or they think it's too expensive, or it's not the right time, or I need to talk to my husband or my wife, or this or that. All it means is they need you right now, but you're not giving them enough value.
Exactly.
Give them enough value, they're going to learn about you.
And you have to take ownership. Like, and like, even though it was funny what I said earlier, there's truth in it. You have to take ownership in this. And this is like, I'm going back before all this stuff came out. It's so funny because when I tell these stories, I'm 48. So these stories go back to like my early 30s, before all this coaching and blah, blah was all over the internet. Now this is stuff predate that. So yeah, this is extreme ownership. I think there's a book out there called that. So you have to own it. You got to say, listen, if the market's not responding, I need to keep changing up my message. You got to keep changing that frequency until finally you get on that vibe and energy wavelength where they're like, oh my God, that's what you've been saying this whole entire time. Yeah, it only took me 3 years to get there, but all right, let's do it. Time to go.
Oh, okay. Well, let me interject a little bit. I've been teaching these classes. It's called The Truth About Happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I am the global leading specialist on the topic. And when I say happiness, I'm not talking about, oh, something happens and now I'm happy. In fact, there's a very famous study. You can Google it. It's called the 5 most common regrets of the dying. And the 5th regret is, I wish I would have been happier. So that's what I'm talking about. And when I say I've taught the classes, I taught the classes in California, in Oregon, and Las Vegas. And so it is a continual theme. And I start the class with, I have the answer to all of your problems and all of your challenges for the rest of your life. And then I hand everybody, it's actually an object. Can you imagine what it is?
No.
A happiness object?
Well, here you go. You were just giving me some advice. It's a mirror. So
Yeah.
who wants to rush to the mirror to say, oh, I'm discontent because of me. Oh, not blaming the world, not blaming circumstances, not blaming a partner, not blaming coworkers.
Yeah.
So who rushes to the mirror to say, oh, it's me? So I'm just sharing that.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
No, but she's making a parallel from what I said
do,
earlier.
Absolutely. Whenever
Yeah.
shit happens in my life that I'm not happy with, I don't look for anyone to blame other than myself.
What was that song that came out a million years ago where he sang the reggae? It wasn't me. Shaggy.
Yes.
Shaggy, it was you, buddy. You got to re-record that song.
Accountability.
That's it. I'm holding Shaggy accountable. If he's listening, you better call in, Shaggy. We have to have a talk.
That's really
Oh, you're
so the latest book that I published, it's called Program for Unhappiness. And in the book, I list 56 program behaviors. So it's really about the programming and how to eliminate.
the mindset.
You worry.
Faded out. We have
worry.
to take ownership.
Right.
She's in that area.
No.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
There's no reception.
Yeah, we missed a bunch, like the last 30 seconds.
Tell her that we're on the show. Call her back.
Hello?
Oh, wait, she's back, Jason.
It's probably, yeah.
Maybe you're in an area where the cell service isn't so amazing.
Hello?
Yep. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, because I'm driving.
Yeah.
I'm driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Got it. Well, you were talking about your book or something you just published.
Yeah, the book is called Program for Unhappiness.
Okay.
In the book, I list 56 program behaviors that subtract. And so the question is, how many people are willing to look in the mirror and say, oh, I need to eliminate my programs? Number one, worrying is a program.
Yeah, it is a program. You're absolutely right. I agree with that.
I'm right about most of this topic. I'm right about most of everything. Just like, but anyway, it was a pleasure connecting. And
I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm really happy you called, and I feel really happy now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Well, happiness comes from within, so it's nothing to do with anything external. It's nothing to do with how much money you make, how much likes you have. None of that. No achievements. It's from within. But you already know that.
Yeah, we already know that.
We're just a happy group.
And so what I share is happiness is a practice skill, just like any other skill. It's a practice.
Oh, 100%. It's, it's a habit. We create our habits and we reinforce them daily. So happiness is definitely one of those too. Wow. We could have, we could have a long conversation on this. I hope you're going to call in again in 2 weeks when I'm hosting this show. And we can really dive into the happiness topic, because I have we can go back and forth on that. I love it. We're on the same page with so much of the stuff here. And I think it's awesome what you're doing too, because this is an awareness that really, I think more people need, because so many people run on autopilot. They don't know that your state of mind is a choice. And when you,
the question, seriously, does a robot have a choice? When you're programmed, you really don't have a choice other than what the program is.
Until you get the awareness of the new program, the awareness that says I have a choice. But no, most people are unaware. They're running on autopilot.
Exactly. And what's the percentage of the autopilot? You ready? Put your seatbelts on. You ready?
I'm ready. I just clipped in.
Okay, 98%.
That doesn't shock me at all. at all. No, it's true. Like this is a rabbit hole. You literally just opened up the rabbit hole as far as I'm concerned, and we only have 40 seconds. I love this.
And this is everything that I do. 45 years of this, but I will definitely connect again.
All right. Amazing. Thank you so much for calling in. And yeah, we're looking forward to talking to you again in a couple weeks.
Okay. I'll be there, be square. Later, alligator.
Right,
See you, crocodile.
Bye.
That was fun. What do you think of that, guys? Happiness.
I think that people are looking for happiness, but sometimes they forget that our purpose here is not happiness. Is it? Because that's what social media tells you. That's our purpose here, to be happy, to have things. People don't look around the world. You know, when 2/3 of the world don't have running water, how is that their purpose, happiness? And sometimes, in most cases, they're happier than us in the Western world.
It's 100% true.
We have everything here to make our life so easy, but yet everyone is so miserable. I'm in the mental health industry, and you know, people come to us now more than ever. Children, higher suicidality rates, higher, depression, more medications, OC. I mean, it's just out of control.
Well, it's social programming and social conditioning, which is creating these situations for lack of satisfaction and happiness. See, people think I need the Bentley or the perfect body.
And social media.
Yeah, social media is the worst. I agree.
I mean, we love social media, but then we have to understand how toxic it is, trying to keep up with everyone. And, if you can get from social media good information and knowledge and guidance, then you're good.
Yeah.
But trying to keep up with the looks and the money and all these things, like half the people, they look happy, but they're not.
You use it as a resource for information. It's really funny that you're saying what you're saying, because a few weeks ago I had somebody that I was with, and they opened up my Instagram, and they said, open it up. And I opened it up, and they said, let's look at the search page. And I opened up the search page, and apparently the search page is a reflection of what you, like, low key when no one's around, is looking at. So I just opened up my search page, and what you saw was surfing, chihuahuas, capybaras, and sloths, and then motivational quotes. And she's like, what kind of guy has that search page? And I was like, well, this is what I use my social media for. I'm not looking,
That's the information to get in on.
Yeah. I'm looking to be happy. I'm looking to be motivated. I'm looking to things that are going to put a smile on my face, not things that are going to make me compare, contrast, make me feel or think that I'm missing out on something. I got everything. We have everything we need.
Yeah, but I know that you're really big on mindfulness. And I think that one of the important blocks of mindfulness is, number one, to feel for other people and put yourself in their shoes and realize not what you see is the actual story. That's not the whole story. You have to understand where people are coming from for exhibiting certain behaviors.
Well, everyone has a story. Case in point.
Right. And I think Jack Kornfield wrote a book. It's called Shade in the Dark, or Lamp.
Hold that thought. We got Nikki Hernandez calling us. Let's say hi to Nikki. Connecting. Are we connected? Are you there, Nikki?
Hey, I'm here.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thanks so much for calling in. What kind of questions do you have for this amazing crew of individuals here today?
Yeah, most definitely. I just wanted to call because I was reading on your profile about mindset coaching and strategy and overcoming some of those obstacles that entrepreneurs face and everything. And so my question was in regards to money mindsets. I've been running into a lot of individuals who, say that they have money blocks and they're struggling they feel like they're doing all the right things in their business, but they're struggling to make money. Does that have anything to do with their mindset?
110%. Your relationship to money is 100% your relationship with your mindset and the way you see it, approach it, look at it, feel it. Similar to the lady we were just speaking with, who's a happiness expert, and she was talking about the way our minds work and process to create, allow us to experience happiness, we'll say. It's the same thing with money. It's all based on our sub-programming. our subconscious programming as to how we connect with it and feel about it. And, that often starts at a very young age. And depending how we negotiate those feelings and negotiate what's going on inside of us, it's ultimately going to dictate, where we wind up and where we stay, unless we wake up and make a conscious decision to change that unconscious behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. Was the happiness coach Rebecca Norrington?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's so fabulous. I just had to ask and give her a shout out. Her book, it was amazing. It's called Programmed for Unhappiness. And it is just so powerful. I mean, people are reading it all over the country. And I've shown it to so many people, and I've read excerpts of it like on Clubhouse and different apps and all that. Yeah. And people are just like, wow, like Rebecca really is an expert in her field. And it's just amazing I'm glad that I called. I'm glad that I called after her, because she's just amazing.
Yeah, she had a lot of great stuff to share with us. She really did. It was a pleasure speaking with her, no doubt. And that's the thing, is like the same principles. Like one thing I talk about in my coaching practice is everything's holistic. I've been through all types of aspects of life, hills, valleys, twists, turns all over the world, met all kinds of interesting people. And the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. And, happiness has parallels to relationships with money. How you approach your happiness is probably very similar to how you approach money, if that makes sense. And then one of the challenges that a lot of people, face is they look for solutions in compartmentalized places. This was always the big issue I found in the past, is in my earlier days when I was building companies and stuff, is I would look for answers in the lane that the answer was held in. And the challenge with that sometimes is they don't always give you a holistic perspective. So, for example, I see a lot of younger people coming up in, today's world in their 20s. Maybe they have some kick-ass businesses. They're doing well. They're making money. But I see how they're carrying their life and how they're moving forward in life. And I can already tell, as somebody who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, been on the ups and downs, that they have basically a rude awakening waiting for them in a couple of years, because they're not approaching it from a holistic standpoint. They think that you can get away with doing one thing all the time a certain way, that it's not going to impact other areas. So here's the thing. Someone works with Rebecca on happiness and say they're able to raise their happiness consciousness, and they become a happier person. Well, naturally, as a byproduct with some of those principles, if they're what I think they are, I haven't read her book, but when she was talking about unconscious, I'm assuming there's some hypnosis and NLP thrown in there. With some of that going on, it will spill over into the other categories, especially if it's introduced. That's one thing I always do in my coaching, is when we're focusing on something, I always put in parallels of, all right, so this applies to this situation, but real quick, I'm not a dating coach, but let's talk real quickly, because you're single. Let's see how we can apply this to your dating life. Let's see how we can apply this to your family life. Let's see how we can apply this, to your career, or whatever the topic is. Because again, when you take a holistic approach, now you're working with an integrated person instead of somebody who's like a series of 10 bar graphs, a 10 here, an 8 here, a 2 here, a 10 there again. And then you get someone all over the map. So I think that's a long answer for your short question.
No, that makes sense. And, I appreciate the explanation for sure. And you're right. There's a lot of younger individuals coming up, and the money concept is interesting, because in my observation, and this is just strictly my observation, doesn't mean that it's true or anything like that. It's just what I've seen. So what I have seen is all my brothers and sisters are all Gen Zers, and I'm a millennial. And my Gen Z siblings are very conservative with their money. They save their money. And I've noticed that the students that I teach, because I'm a high school teacher by day, they also typically are very conservative with their money. They will spend it, but they don't spend it on what some people might call frivolous or sentimental or nostalgic things. And what I'm referring to specifically, like in the school system, for example, when I was growing up, yearbooks were very popular. It was just a whole thing. We would sign each other's yearbooks, have a yearbook signing day, and they were pretty expensive, like even back then. But now the students, I asked them, hey, do you buy a yearbook? And I noticed this 11 years ago when I first started teaching, and I was like, why do people not buy yearbooks anymore? And it was kind of surprising. They were like, "Oh, we don't want that. We'll maybe get one. Maybe our parents will get us one our senior year." And that was kind of the start of the shift for me when I started to realize that the younger generation has not a bad mindset, but a different mindset when it comes to money. And I think a lot of that is based on the types of conversations that are held around the dinner table at home. If parents are talking about things like they can't afford something, or something is too expensive, or the price, the cost, everything is oftentimes the conversations a lot of times at home are gravitating around money all the time. And usually the conversations are not very optimistic or uplifting. Not always, of course, but in those instances, when a kid has grown up around those particular mindsets and those thought processes and those conversations, they assume them as their own, and they start to become sort of afraid. And while a lot of people will, chastise Gen Zers in particular and say, Gen Z wants to graduate school and get a job and make $100,000 basically doing nothing. I understand where that sentiment is coming from, for sure. But at the same time, if you look at it from their perspective as well, you can see that this desire that they have to make a lot of money right out of the gate, a lot of it has to do with their mindset on survival and what they need to survive. So they're like, okay, I need to make this amount of money to be able to survive. So of course, that's what I'm going to demand right out of the gate, because it's about my survival. It's no longer about working my way up the ladder and saving money and doing things the traditional way, because they realize that the traditional way has failed many generations, including millennials.
Or maybe it succeeded.
Sure, absolutely.
Maybe they're failing. Maybe the Gen Zs are failing, believing that you have to not go to school and just be an influencer and do some stupid stuff online and be a millionaire, or girls go and do OnlyFans. Because why do they need to go to school? Or why do they actually need to show their actual skills if they can just go to the gym and make money this way? Or same thing with guys. So maybe the old traditional way was more successful. It was more pro family. It was more pro longevity and keep going and working hard and achieving goals and setting up new goals once you achieve them, and having a community to support you, and having good friends, longtime friends around you, and your parents are there and you help them, support them, and you support your siblings, and just make it a nice community that someone is holding you accountable for. Now there's no accountability.
Well, here's the thing.
Does whatever they want.
Kids are raised and people are raised to value certain things, and people will always carry out actions based on what unconsciously they value inside. So always look at someone's actions to get an idea of the real meaning that's going on behind the scenes. So with kids today, they are coming up to be told to value this, and that, which ultimately, hey, it is what it is. It's their karma. It's the universe.
Yeah, but it's to the parents to show them what the values that they need to.
Well, that's part of the challenge.
Of course,
right
it's
there.
going to be their decision.
All right, hold on. We got 30 seconds before she's going to get hung up on here.
I wouldn't leave. I would continue on this conversation.
I know, it's good.
Teacher.
Well, we got a parent here of 2 children, so it's like, yeah, he's got some thoughts. So this is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I respect all opinions and perspectives and value what everyone has to say, because when you can leave a conversation more intelligent than you were when you started, and you're more enlightened, then ultimately that's the win. 100%. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
That was a good discussion.
That was really good. And it's a values thing. It's because kids are coming up these days. They're being taught to value certain things. And here's the thing: at the end of the day, if you really want to boil things down to the nuggets, is look at the values over history, humankind over the past 2 million years. What values have carried humans across, what is it, like millennia? Is it millennia, 1,000 years, whatever, ever that has carried us for our existence? Certain values have kept societies together. Certain values have kept cultures together. Certain values have risen up great countries. Certain values have destroyed empires. So it's taking a look at the common threads to see what they all carry. And, that I always say, get back to the basics. When we get in touch with ourselves, whether you're making a 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, or $1 million, who cares? If you're happy, you're content, and you're living a life where you can genuinely look someone in the eyes and give them a strong handshake and stand behind what you do and say, this is what I'm here to do and I'm good with it, guess what? I have nothing. I have no conversation. Yeah.
At the same time, what history teaches us is the future.
Correct.
And the present. So nothing
History
really
repeats itself.
changes. Nothing really
Nothing
changes. Okay. If you look back in history, I mean, people are now trying to reinvent history, and it's not working out.
No,
Like,
definitely
we
not.
have to, go down to the basics and see how have people actually lived their lives and find good role models.
Yeah. The role models is key. And then here's the thing too. It's the generations of today. Things are going back to the way they once were. Like Chamber of Commerce's face-to-face networking is starting to come back because people are realizing that the internet, the apps, social media, you can't trust it like you used to, or people thought they could. How many people have bought online courses only to basically feel like they were raked over the coals? How many people have made purchases? Like I'll be vulnerable. I made a purchase on Temu for something, and I thought it was going to be 3 times the size. And the way the picture was taken, the thing looked huge. And I got it. I was like, this little itty bitty. It was like a thing to clean the sliding glass doors. The little, what are they called? The slides.
Squeegee this big.
Yeah, the thing. I'm like, dude, this is like, I need a little 2-year-old to do this. My fingers were too big for the darn tool. So that's the thing, where we're getting back to our roots. We're human, natural species at the end of the day.
Well, that's why they're trying to ban phones from kids to go to schools now.
I didn't hear about that, but wow, that's a big move.
Some schools are starting it.
Okay.
No phones, because there's no research that shows that being on the phone or being on social media is actually good for anyone.
Right.
There's no research.
It's a distraction.
I think there's actually a lot of studies that show how harmful it is to children.
Yeah. Well, these days, maybe you guys are experiencing this too, but I'm meeting more and more people who are like, yeah, I don't have an Instagram. I don't have a
That's
Facebook.
great. That's great.
I love it.
And we do see patients in our office that, I had someone walking in with like 2 million followers, and she lost 200,000 followers, and she was depressed, and she looks like a supermodel. How can you explain that?
Yeah.
She's upset because she lost 200,000 followers. I understand that, but at the same time, like, people forget what the real
connection,
what the real thing is. Like,
Yeah.
they're not your friends.
No, they don't know you.
Well, she worried because she lost the followers, or she lost the ability to monetize those followers.
That would be different on the monetization.
Maybe, but if you think about it, these like Instagram models that are going and all of a sudden they have a boyfriend, and then they lose like 20% of the followers because now they have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So what is it teaching us? It's not okay
Yeah.
to have a boyfriend, because otherwise what? Or
Well, that's where if people had more clarity about their purpose, what they were doing, and why they were here, there would be less dissension in their minds with like what you just described. She loses 200,000 followers and now she's completely depressed, because at the end of the day, it's about people getting clear at what really matters in your life. Where is your confidence center? Where's your self-esteem center? If it's based on external, you're always going to be chasing the external. And the worst part about that is you might be willing to do some unthinkable things to get the external. But when it comes from a centered place of internal, guess what? You're not going to get moved. You're going to be like a pillar in the ground. You're going to know who you are, where you stand, and you're going to find your tribe. If there's people that look at you funny or,
but that's
want to
all
leave
part
you,
of mindfulness.
100%. Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about at the workshop tonight.
Even self-love, for example.
Self-love is huge.
Self-love is huge. And, it is coming from mindfulness, being present at the moment.
Present moment.
Look what's around you.
Yeah.
Interact with real people.
Real
Go
people.
to real places.
Well, look at you guys right here. Both of you.
Walk outside and take a walk in the sun.
Nature.
Get out of the house. Go
Yeah.
exercise. Eat healthy.
Well, think of this. How did we all meet? You two met here today, which I'm sure you guys will be friends. I've known you for 12 years,
Yeah.
11, 12 years. I've known you for 3 years, maybe 4, met you at the gym.
5,
Yeah, 5 maybe. We all met through face-to-face, through interactions, through connection,
Probably.
genuine human exchange.
Yes.
Not based on, I didn't go to Alex and say, well, hold on a second, man, before you say another word. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
No, let me take your Instagram and then I'll decide if I want to be your friend or not.
I spoke 4 words to this guy and loved his energy and his vibe, and we're friends ever since. Same thing with you too. I meet you, instant friends, eye contact, you know? So that's how it goes. That's real. And guess what? His Instagram, your Instagram, mine could all go to one and we would still be following each other. Yeah. Well, actually, I wouldn't follow you guys. I got a reputation to keep. No, but that's the whole point. It's like when you have real people in your life, it doesn't make it none of that stuff really matters. And people are chasing the false, the ghost, the shadow. That doesn't really ever, exist. So, hey, we're out of time. We went a while here, guys. So as we wrap this up, I'm going to ask you both. Well, I'll start with Alex and we'll go to you, Isaac. What do you have some final finishing thoughts? What do you, some thoughts you want to leave people with?
Just do it. I think because you never know what's possible unless you just take those steps and just keep on taking them every day.
And are you on the Owwll app yet? Have you put in a profile up?
I started filling it out and following some people last night, actually.
All right, awesome. Well, okay. So the man's on the Owwll app if you want to talk with him. So just keep it open, like when you're driving or if you're not doing anything and you want to just do some networking, and who knows, maybe there's someone out there that needs medical supplies and like there's a connect.
So. What kind of medical?
I have a handful of national distributors that drop ship for me, and we have access to over 2 million products between them in any segment of laboratory or medical. So my specialty is histology, but my partner works mostly with clinical labs. We sell to our new big account that I told you I was excited about is North Shore Hospital up in Long Island, and they've got stuff all over the country we're shipping to now.
Cool. Nice. Alex Margolius. Did I say your last name right?
It's close enough.
Margolius.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Margolius. Alex Margolius.
Nice Jewish boy.
On the Owwll app. Nice Jewish boy on the Owwll app. All right, Isaac, some final thoughts.
Get off your phones. Get out there. Talk to people. Real people. Create connections. This is how you're going to make it in life. You don't have to have it all perfect. Because there's nothing that's perfect. Make mistakes. Don't be scared. Just go do it.
Can't say it any better. Perfect. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Maybe these guys will grace our presence again in the future. Come back because they both had a lot to say. And I think we could have gone for probably 3 hours here. But I have a workshop at 6 o'clock, which I hope most of you are going to be attending, if not all of you. If you go to my Instagram, AYRO Mindset, at Arrow Mindset, you can register right from it. Oh, I guess I can do this too. See, this is how untechnological I really am. AY. Wait, why is it you? AY. There we go. All right, there he is. Yeah. That's why I told you I got a reputation. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so this is whatever. You guys can look through it. It feels weird talking about myself on here, but anyways, this is my page. And if you want to register for the workshop, just go here. Hold on. Or better yet, no, go here. Hold on. Hit my story. Okay. All right, blah, 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 blah. Add to your story. There we go. Register. Just click that link. That's all you got to do. Click that and look at what happens. Bam. That's it. Tonight at 6 o'clock. All right, we're done. Have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. See you in 2 weeks.